This is Nightline and I'm Ahmad Hamdan. The headlines. 1.5 trillion ringgit national debt will be urgently addressed, says PM. And government to speed up hiring of foreign workers in 5 critical sectors. Good morning. The national debt, including liabilities, has hit 1.5 trillion ringgit and needs to be urgently addressed. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said based on the International Monetary Fund's economic forecast, the downtrend will continue and the challenge for the government is to handle the high national debt.
Apa dia berapa khidmat hutang 2023? 45 bilion ringgit. Khidmat hutang 2023 iaitu 15% daripada hasil. Dan ini juga maksima, mencecah kadar maksima yang mampu ditangani oleh negara.
He said this at his keynote address during the budget dialogue consultation held on Tuesday. Datuk Seri Anwar, who is also finance minister, said the country's economic position is still not strong and also affected by external developments such as the Russia-Ukraine conflict and the global economy, which has yet to recover fully post-COVID-19. Hence, he stressed that the government will not take the business-as-usual approach, but will instead adopt another approach in order to strengthen the country's economy. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Anwar said the country could save up to 10 billion ringgit from the leakages that occurred in the government procurement system. The Prime Minister said that leakages could be stopped if corruption is eradicated at all levels. This includes changing the old way of doing things, namely without political interference or the interests of big businessmen in government procurement.
Tempatan banjir, perolehan peralatan tentera, kalau ini diserahkan kepada yang berupaya, kita boleh kurangkan. Apa relevansi dengan bajet? Kita mengalami kebocoran yang tinggi. Dalam hampir belum 2 bulan saya di Kementerian Kewangan, saya boleh kenal pasti 3-4 bilion ringgit yang boleh diselamatkan.
On the 2023 budget, Datuk Seri Anwar said it should focus on restoring the confidence of domestic and foreign investors, as well as expediting the approval of investment. Priority will also be given to small and medium enterprises, SMEs, in high-impact sectors such as technology, agriculture and renewable energy, which have export capabilities. He added that it will not be tied to the budget presented by the previous government in October last year. However, the proposals made will be taken into account in the revised budget. The government will present the revised 2023 budget in Parliament on February 24th. Now, the government is implementing a plan to make it easier and faster to hire foreign workers in 5 critical sectors and subsectors. The Human Resources Ministry, KSM, said the Foreign Worker Employment Relaxation Plan, effective from January to March 31st, covers the manufacturing, construction, plantations, agriculture and services industries. Its Minister V. Sivakumar, in a statement on Tuesday, said employers in the 5 industries could submit applications for hiring foreign workers through the Ministry's Foreign Worker Centralised Management System, FWCMS, with immediate effect. He added that the Ministry will process and approve the applications within 3 working days after receiving them. He also said advertisements of vacancies on the My Future Jobs portal would be exempted with immediate effect. However, employers who had applied to the FWE approval module and E-quota module before January 17th should submit new applications to enable their applications to be considered under the plan. On January 10th, the government introduced the Foreign Worker Employment Relaxation Plan as a measure to meet the demand for migrant workers, allowing employers to hire foreign labour from 15 source countries without going through the preconditions of employment and quota eligibility. Meanwhile, in a separate statement, Home Minister Datuk Seri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said that employers who obtain conditional approval from KSM to employ foreign workers under the plan are required to settle the levy payment at the Immigration Department before identifying foreign workers in the source country. After the levy payment process, employers need to complete several other requirements, including visa with reference (VDR) applications, single entry visa applications abroad, and the issuance of temporary employment visit passes (PLKS). Once the foreign workers are issued with the PLKS, employers will be given a maximum grace period of 6 months to comply with the preconditions that were exempted at the initial stage. 7 major traffic offences will be non-compoundable throughout this year's Chinese New Year CNY festive season. Transport Minister Anthony Loke said the offences include cutting queues, overtaking on double lines, running a red light, driving over the speed limit, using mobile phones while driving, not wearing a seat belt or helmet, and driving on the emergency lane.
Seperti yang telah nyatakan, 7 kesalahan itu tidak akan dikompaunkan. Akan dibawa ke mahkamah dalam tempoh tersebut.
Loke said this after launching the Integrated Ops and Road Safety campaign in Dengkil in conjunction with the upcoming CNY celebration. He added that goods vehicles will also be banned from using the roads during the festive season to reduce traffic congestion. The ban starts 2 days before Chinese New Year on January 20th and 21st, and 2 days after on January 24th and 25th. Loke also said the Road Transport Department will be stricter in carrying out traffic enforcement this year. At the same event, Works Minister Datuk Seri Alexander Nantalinggi revealed that the speed limit on federal roads nationwide will be reduced by 10 kilometers per hour from Wednesday to January 27th in conjunction with the upcoming Chinese New Year celebrations. He said during this period, the speed limit on federal roads was lowered to 80 kilometers per hour instead of 90 kilometers per hour and decreased to 70 kilometers per hour on state roads. According to Datuk Seri Nanta, temporary changes to the current speed limit signs would also be made to reflect the reduction. He pointed out that this is one of the safety and monitoring measures taken by the government to enhance safety and reduce the risk of traffic accidents that often occur during the festive season. Datuk Seri Nanta also stated that his ministry had identified 76 accidents hotspots along federal roads and will continue to monitor these locations.
KKR, kita ada black spot, telah saya sebut tadi. Kita ada 53 lokasi yang telah dilaksanakan perbaikan dengan kos telah dibelanjakan 17.2 juta ringgit. Sedang dilaksanakan.
He added that street lights had also been installed at 40 accident hotspots on federal roads last year under the Road Infrastructure Program at a cost of 4.7 million ringgit. The government will review the legal services provided through the Department of Legal Aid and the National Legal Aid Foundation. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Law and Institutional Reform, Datuk Seri Azalina Othman Said, said the move is to improve service quality and access to justice.
So we have to see it to restructure whether there are certain cases we can outsource. And I think there's also a lot of lawyers out there who don't mind doing some work on behalf of the government. Takkan nak prosecute at high level only. I mean, simple cases on the ground.
The minister said this at an institutional reform workshop in the federal capital. She added the institution's transparency and integrity is an important agenda of the unity government. Therefore, she stressed that the proposed establishment of the Malaysian Ombudsman, which is an independent body that handles people's complaints against government agencies, will be given proper consideration. On the reform of the criminal court system and human rights, she said on December 21st, the government announced a proposal to abolish the mandatory death penalty in the upcoming parliament session. According to Datuk Seri Azalina, the proposed amendment is aimed at restoring the court's discretion to determine a sentence that is appropriate based on the facts of the case and the circumstances of the accused. Now, there was a breach in the Standard Operating Procedures SOP for the withdrawal of schooling financial aid amounting to over 100,000 ringgit that was eventually stolen in an incident in Beranang, Selangor on Monday. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq said this was among the initial information received and that the case was currently under investigation by police and the Selangor Education Department, JPN.
Kita ambil serius kenapa? Pertama, kehilangan ini melibatkan jumlah yang cukup besar. Kedua, SOP kewangan ini telah dilanggar. Ya, kita ada SOP yang cukup ketat bahawa lebih daripada 10,000 mestilah ada escort. Ini kan pula satu jumlah yang cukup besar. Ya, jadi kita sedang menunggu laporan polis dan juga JPN Selangor dan kemudian kita akan mengumumkan tindakan yang akan diambil. Ya, kita tak kompromi soal isu ini.
Fadlina said this on Tuesday after visiting Sekolah Kebangsaan SK Cepo Ipoh, where she announced an allocation of 150,000 ringgit for improvements and maintenance purposes. She added the ministry would not compromise on the matter, and so far only one such incident had been reported in the country. Fadlina also said that her ministry would reimburse the money to the school through the relevant process, as it was the right of the school students. In the 10 a.m. incident, a headmaster lost 109,000 ringgit in students' financial aid allocated for his school when it was stolen from his car. The money was earlier withdrawn by the headmaster from a bank and placed in a bag in the front passenger seat of his car while he went to a nearby shop to buy a drink in Semenyih. The decision that 4 former Bersatu members need not vacate the seats they won on Gabungan Rakyat Sabah GRS tickets in the 15th general election GE15 is final. According to Dewan Rakyat Speaker Datuk Johari Abdul, he had given all the justifications and reasoning for his decision in a letter dated January 16th, which he sent to Bersatu. He said it was up to Bersatu to refer to the courts as they have the right to do so. The Speaker was responding to a statement by Bersatu President Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin that the party would refer the matter to court as Datuk Johari had erred in ruling that the 4 MPs did not breach the anti-party hopping law and thus did not have to vacate the Papar, Batu Sapi, Ranau and Sipitang seats in Sabah. Tan Sri Muhyiddin, on the other hand, has disputed the Speaker's decision that the 4 Sabah members of Parliament, formerly with Bersatu, need not vacate their seats. He said that in a letter on Monday, Datuk Johari reasoned that going by this clause, the 4 MPs had become direct members of GRS on October 27th and thus had been automatically stripped of their Bersatu membership then, before contesting in the 15th general election GE15 on November 19th. Early last month, the Bersatu leadership in Sabah announced to leave the party. The announcement was made by GRS chairman Datuk Seri Haji Nur after considering the current state of the country's political landscape. The government's cooperation with media houses, including with Media Prima Berhad, can play a large role in developing an innovative society as part of the aspiration to transition Malaysia into a high-value economy. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli, who expressed interest in the cooperation, said he has some ideas on the matter which will be discussed at length with the integrated media conglomerate.
Ada juga beberapa perspektif ekonomi yang melibatkan rakyat kerana kerajaan ada dasar tetapi perlu juga disambut dengan baik oleh rakyat dari segi beberapa perkara dan media seperti Media Prima ada peranan yang cukup penting untuk kita memastikan kerajaan dan masyarakat dan industri bergerak ke arah yang sama.
The minister said this after receiving a courtesy visit from the Media Prima Group senior management led by its chairman Datuk Sri Dr. Syed Hussein Al-Junid at his office on Tuesday. Meanwhile, New Straits Times Press Malaysia Berhad NSTP Group Managing Editor Dato' Ahmad Zaini Kamaruzaman said the visit, among others, also discussed how the group can foster closer cooperation with the Economy Ministry in a mutually beneficial manner.
Kepada pihak menteri, bagaimana kita boleh membantu pihak menteri menunaikan ataupun melaksanakan program-program yang telah dalam perancangan mereka dan secara bekerjasama dengan Media Prima. InsyaAllah selepas ini kita akan ada lagi perbincangan untuk mendetailkan lagi atau butiran lanjut mengenai program-program yang boleh kita jalinkan bersama dengan Kementerian Ekonomi dan juga pihak Media Prima.
He added that Rafizi also expressed interest in taking up Media Prima's invitation to tour the group's operations. Also present during the visit were Media Prima Television Networks and Primeworks Studios Chief Executive Officer Datuk Khairul Anwar Saleh, Media Prima Omnia Chief Operating Officer Muhammad Effendi Omar, and Group Corporate Communications General Manager Azlan Abdulaziz. Vietnam President resigns amid corruption scandal. News from the Foreign Front when we return. Foreign Front, an Indonesian court on Tuesday has charged former Inspector General Ferdi Sambo with life imprisonment in the premeditated murder of his own police aide, Brigadier Nofriansyah Yosua Huta Barat. In demanding for the sentence, the prosecutors on Tuesday said Sambo's actions had been legally and convincingly proven to have violated Article 340 of the Criminal Code. Other incriminating factors include the fact that the defendant has failed to confess to his violations, which resulted in the image of the police institution being defaced. Sambo was also proven in previous court trials for obstruction of justice by intentionally creating a false scenario on the murder of Yosua. On July 8, 2022, police said that Yosua was gunned down by his colleague, Private Second Class Richard Eliezer, in a shootout at the South Jakarta home of their boss, then Internal Affairs Division Chief Inspector General Sambo. Vietnam President Nguyen Xuan Phuc has resigned on Tuesday after days of rumors he was about to be sacked amid a major anti-corruption drive that has seen several ministers fired. The government, in a statement, said that Phuc submitted an application to resign from his assigned positions, quit his job and retire. The Communist Party had ruled he was responsible for violations and wrongdoing of numerous officials served under him. This as the party doubles down on a blazing furnace anti-corruption drive led by its long-serving chief Nguyen Phu Trong. The 68-year-old, who was premier from 2016 to 2021, has held the largely ceremonial position of president for less than 2 years and is the highest-ranking official targeted by the party's sweeping corruption crackdown. Vice President Vo Thi An Suan will become the acting president until the National Assembly votes in a new leader. An insurgent group based in Somalia, Al-Shabaab, has claimed responsibility for a bomb blast that killed at least 10 people in Howardly military base. The Al-Qaeda allied group on Tuesday said it had killed many apostate soldiers, including their commander, by ramming the base with a suicide car bomb. The attack came a day after the Al-Qaeda affiliate lost control of the strategic towns of Haradeh and Galkat in the central Galmudug state, an Al-Shabaab stronghold on the Indian Ocean coast that it had held for a decade. As pressure on the Al-Shabaab grows, its fighters have struck back, stepping up gun and bomb attacks on the military and civilians, including in areas they have been chased from. China's population fell last year for the first time in 6 decades, a historic turn that is expected to mark the start of a long period of decline in its citizen numbers, with profound implications for its economy and the world. The country's National Bureau of Statistics reported a drop of roughly 850,000 people for a population of 1.41 billion at the end of 2022. Demographer Yi Fuxian said China's demographic and economic outlook is much bleaker than expected, and the country will have to adjust its social, economic, defense and foreign policies. The drop, the worst since 1961, the last year of China's Great Famine, also lends weight to predictions that India will become the world's most populous nation this year. Welcome back. On to sports. Tennis, the 2023 Australian Open. Andy Murray reached the second round on Tuesday after winning a 5-set thriller over Matteo Berrettini of Italy. Murray looked destined for an easy victory when he claimed the first two sets 6-3, 6-3. Berrettini, however, bounced back to take the next two sets 6-4, 7-6, bringing the game to a decider. And after some tough fights, former world number one Murray closed out the game with a 7-6 win. Murray will face the winner of the match between Australian Thanasi Kokkinakis and Fabio Fognini of Italy. Also in the second round was Andrei Rublev. The fifth-seeded Russian took 2 hours and 10 minutes to beat the 2020 finalist from Austria at the John Cain Arena 6-3, 6-4, 6-2. Rublev will play against the winner of the match between world number 46 Emil Ruusuvuori of Finland and local qualifier Max Purcell. Joining them was Taylor Fritz. The 8th-seeded American was dragged to a 4-set battle before claiming a 6-4, 6-2, 4-6, 7-5 win over Nicolas Basilashvili of Georgia. Earlier 2017 Australian Open semi-finalist Grigor Dimitrov opened his 2023 campaign in Melbourne with a 7-6, 7-5, 6-2 victory over Aslan Karatsev. The 27th-seeded Bulgarian moves on to Laszlo Djere of Serbia in the second round. In the women's event, Aryna Sabalenka booked her berth in the second round after she powers through Teresa Martinkova on Tuesday at Melbourne Park. The fifth-seeded Sabalenka, who won the Adelaide International title in the first week of the year, hit 29 winners to her opponent's 7 as she claimed a 6-1, 6-4 win. Sabalenka has not made it past the fourth round at the Australian Open in 5 previous visits. She will face world number 53, Shelby Rogers, in the next round. In another match, unseeded wildcard Kim Burrell of Australia came back from a set down to stun 31st seed Kaya Kanepi 3-6, 7-6, 6-1 in the first round. Burrell, ranked 167th in the world, had the backing of the home crowd as she clawed back on a hot day in Melbourne to take down Kanepi, who reached the quarterfinals of the 2022 Australian Open. The 24-year-old Burrell will face Czech teenager Linda Frvitova in the second round. Also through to the next round was Karolina Pliskova. The former world number 1 defeated Siyu Wang 6-1, 6-3 to set a second-round clash with the winner of the match between Romanian Sorana Kirsti and Kazakh Yulia Putintseva. Earlier, Garbinia Muguruza lost her 5th consecutive match to the start of the year when she was beaten 6-3, 6-7, 1-6 by Elise Mertens. Two-time Grand Slam champion Muguruza served for the match at 6-5 in the second set before being broken by Mertens. The Belgian won the tiebreaker 7-3. In the decider, Mertens maintained the momentum and broke her rival twice before wrapping up the match as a Muguruza return sailed wide. Body chopped into 6, found stuffed in luggage. This and more after this short break. Thanks for staying with us. A body chopped into 6 pieces and stuffed in a luggage bag was found along the North-South Expressway near the Rawang Selatan interchange at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. A torso was also discovered on the grass near the bag. Sungai Buloh District Police Chief Syafaatun Abu Bakar, who confirmed the grisly discovery, said authorities were alerted by passers-by at 11:45 a.m. A police forensics team was then dispatched to the location for further investigation. It was believed that the victim was murdered and chopped up at a separate location before the body parts were stuffed in the bag and thrown by the side of the highway. However, the victim's identity has yet to be determined, as the head as well as both arms and legs were missing and no identification document was found on the scene. The remains were taken to Sungai Buloh Hospital for post-mortem. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for murder. In Pahang, the Customs Department has foiled an attempt to smuggle tobacco with the seizure of over 2 million sticks of illicit cigarettes worth more than 2 million ringgit. The cigarettes were seized from a lorry parked at the Temerloh R&R area at 8:30 a.m. on January 5th and is believed to be the biggest smuggling attempt in the state thus far. In a press conference on Tuesday, Pahang Customs Department Director Wanapandi Wan Hassan said upon inspection, the lorry using a false registration number was found to be loaded with cigarettes that are banned from being imported into the country. The smuggled cigarettes were valued at 258,800 ringgit, while duty and tax for the contraband items amounted to 1.9 million ringgit. Following the operation, a 56-year-old local man believed to be the driver of the lorry was detained for investigations. Authorities believe the illicit cigarettes were meant to be distributed in the Klang Valley and were smuggled into the country through an East Coast state. The department is currently identifying the mastermind of the syndicate and its network. The case is being investigated under the Customs Act. Now, as we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at this Japanese hairstylist who transformed a camel's coat into an exquisite piece of art ahead of an international camel festival in Bikaner, Rajasthan. With that, I'm Ahmad. Hamdan. Thank you for watching and stay safe.